I want to
I
ask
don't,
you
I don't.
as we transition into
Yeah.
this some leadership questions, and I want to talk a little bit around, because that's the premise of this, right? Is how do we transcend leadership lessons to the next? I don't want to say generation because that just feels like we're getting old. But how do we pass it on to the next? Let's talk about resilience. Okay. How did your experience growing up in Iowa and your military experiences shape your understanding of resilience? And how do you think it can be applied to people to help them overcome challenges in everyday life? So, since there's two of you on the phone with me, or on the webcast phone, like God, that sounds like so like 1990. Like I can think of it like the phone hanging on the wall. Cory, I'm going to give this one to you first.
All right. Resilience wise, I mean, it makes us want it more. We came up from nothing and we had nothing for a very long time. Like I said, I didn't even make it through high school because I was too busy not focusing on school. So went to
You
the,
made it through high school. You didn't make it through college.
you're right.
I don't want to think
What,
everybody, you're not a high school dropout.
what he said. I made it through high school, tried college. It wasn't for me. I realized that. And so I joined the Army. I think what it taught me was never give up. So I'm going through the Army and I made it through basic. I was in very good shape, but it still wasn't quite where I needed to be. It helped me grow up. It helped me know how to drink better,
Yeah.
be more responsible, I guess I should say. But going into selection, becoming a Green Beret, it's all about not giving up, being resilient, right? So they're not going to tell you how far you're going to run, but they're going to have you run until they tell you to stop. So you got to kind of know how to push yourself to an extent that you can continue to push that, so like that tempo. Uh, Carrying that into my military career was there's a mission that we're going on and we have people running from the building. We've got aircraft up above telling us, hey, we got squirters, guys running to a field this direction. We've got a laser on them. So I take at the time I'm a Green Beret, my Iraqi force that's with me, and we run the Eye of God down to try to find this guy. I'm wearing body armor, I'm wearing all this stuff, and I've got to control these Iraqis. One of my teammates is controlling his little force of Iraqis, and we've got to try to canal this runner in. And it's being able to continue to push yourself and push those around you to accomplish the mission that you need
Yeah,
to do,
that's no, it totally does. And
if
you
that
know
makes
what?
sense.
That's what resilience is about, is knowing your, in my words of kind of paraphrasing that, is knowing your limit and knowing how to push through it and knowing how not to give up. Tyler, I'd love to hear your perspective on resilience.
Correct.
Yeah, so originally in my mindset, again, I was a strength and conditioning coach. I was dead set. It's like
Which one is it for you?
nurture
Which
nature
one is it for
type
you,
stuff.
nurture or nature?
Absolutely. The way you were
You get
brought
one.
up,
You get
like,
one choice.
I would go with the aspect like,
No,
well, it's you're
one
nurturing.
answer.
Like if you lack the nurturing, it he,
I just it's
no,
it's
you
easy.
can't push me in a corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner. No, I think that no,
I love it.
I won't let you corner me. I think it's the nurture aspect of the way you were brought up. Like you have people that are just handed everything to them. They tend to be less resilient as they grow up. If you make your children, and I have no kids, so I'm not like telling parenting stuff here, right? But the aspect that if you give your kid everything, they're just going to expect everything as they go through life. If you make them work, chores, things like that, or in our instance, there's no money to be given. This is just what you have to do. Like, either way, you had to work for something. So, like, the aspect, like, here's a little caveat. I drive down the road, little girls or little boys sitting on the side of the road selling little Dixie cups of lemonade for like $5 a piece. Oh, I'm a sucker for it because it reinforces a good, positive behavior. Okay. So the nurture aspect, I think, plays a part. The aspect of the nature, I don't know on that one. Your what you run into in life, yeah, it matters. But let me fast forward a little bit in the aspect that
Mm-hmm.
I'm a strength and conditioning coach by like my schooling, right? And so I was all about, well, if I can make you bigger, faster, stronger, you're going to be better. So I said I worked for those guys out in DC that don't have a name. Okay. So originally I was working in Colorado Springs. I had 3 guys. One guy had like a dad bod. Okay. Another guy
So the second
looked
guy
like
looked like
Hercules.
me.
The
He
other
was
one's
just
just
ripped.
average. Okay. But I had these,
Just huge.
yeah, just jacked. But yeah, he was like Hercules. And I'd make these workouts and train them up for selection to go to selection for that DC unit. And I was training these guys up. And Hercules killed every workout. The dad bod, we're only going to talk about the 2. I'm not going to talk about the guy kind of in the middle. Dad bod, like you never knew he was there. He'd struggle through some workouts. And, like he just made it through. The one thing that did stand out about dad bod was he stayed after and he always wanted to make 1% difference. So when you come into a room, and after you're done, I like when you're in strength and conditioning, I'm not like a personal trainer. I don't pick up after you. I'll help you pick up, but you're going to be helping pick up as well. But this guy would stay after and do just a little bit extra. He'd pick up one extra thing that had nothing to do with us. He'd just do that. Like I thought it was weird at the time, but I think that plays into this story. So anyways, I train them up. All of a sudden they disappear to go to this selection process. No idea what's going on. Then I end up, and I had no idea where they were going. Then I end up into a place where I didn't know where I was going, out in DC. And I get there, and I'm eventually the head PT instructor for the schoolhouse. And then all of a sudden, the mediocre guy and dad bod show up, but Hercules didn't show up. So I was like, wait, there's something. Like, wait, this guy crushed all this. And so it started making me think, like, there's something more to this equation than the physicality of being able to endure something. So then I reached out to Dr. Mike Askin.
Yep.
Dave Grossman wrote On Combat on, those books, right? Okay, so Dave Grossman, Mike Askins, they wrote a couple books together with a Christiansen guy that's not related to us. But so I started talking to him about mental toughness. And his aspect was you have mental toughness in the aspect of arousal control. You have it, arousal control means up arousal, down arousal. As strength and conditioning coaches, we are amazing at up arousal. I think where we're shifting to as a society is down arousal because everybody's talking about yoga, meditation, that type of stuff. So we're shifting in the proper direction, but you got to have a balance. Sometimes that pendulum swings, sticks over here, and then now we got everybody working on, down arousal when it's like, just get up and do something, but it's down arousal, up arousal. Then you have self-talk, the power of the thought in your head. As soon as you start saying I can't to something, like you need to train yourself to say I can or I will or I'm, you got to change the positive mindset. So, if Cory says, I don't know how to do that, like I'm quick on his ass and you can ask him, like, no, you can. It's just X, Y, and Z. And he doesn't say it a lot. It's just in our brotherly conversation.
That is something that I've had to work on, even as a Green Beret, everything else. Coming up as a shy kid, a quiet kid, I've had to work on coming out of my shell and talking to people and giving interviews and
Get
doing
out,
podcasts
really?
now. This is actually my first
Dude,
podcast.
I'm honored.
Thank you, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well,
Busting my cherry,
um,
if we're allowed to say that.
We'll check explicit. We'll add a marker
check
just
explicit.
in case.
Yeah. But I've had to push myself
Yeah.
to I've had to push myself to get out of that comfort zone, out of what I'm used to, my nature, and push myself to, run down people, to
Yeah.
do the more extreme stuff that I do now. So I do think nature has a big part of it, but you can push past what nature
I
had
love that you
planned
wouldn't
on.
let me push you in a corner.
Yeah.
And let me tell you why.
Oh, go ahead.
Because there's not one answer. And I don't, maybe there scientifically is one answer.
Yeah.
But you can't.
No, I don't. There is not. I've already studied this corner shit.
I don't believe
or not corner, but nature
that
nurture.
it's explicitly one or the other. I don't buy it. And so when I tried to push you to into one or the other, I wanted to see how you would react to it. And I'm really proud of you for like holding the line on that, because I believe, like you do, it's impossible to be one or the other. I believe that you are a product of your environment, but you are also influenced by the voices you surround yourself with and the voices that you allow here. Yes. And so
Mentally.
when you surround yourself with poor guidance, poor mentorship, poor leadership association, you're going to hear that. You're going
Well,
to
you could either.
resemble that.
You could have the best leadership in the world sitting in front of you, and guiding you. But if you're like, I don't like him, I don't like her, I don't, no, they're out to get me. You're in that victim mindset or that negative self-talk mindset. You can have the best leader in the world, but you need to fix what's up here. And that's why that self-talk
It's real.
is very important. I mean,
And leadership is all about a team. You're not just by yourself. You've got to include those around you. You're smarter by including the guys that have their strengths.
Yeah.
That
So
build on your
Green
leadership.
Beret, right? Sorry,
Yep.
Tyler. I'm just going to ask this question real quick.
Yes.
Would you take the highest performer, Tyler? You've given your answer. Would you take the highest performer, overachiever all day long, or are you taking the person that's more selfless, well-rounded?
So honestly, I want somebody in between. You've got the performers that they kill it. They're the guys that are always the first ones done on the runs. They're the first ones to, physically they're the elite. But you've got those guys that are the smartest, right? And they're able to problem solve. They're able to break things down. That's what's unique about the Green Berets. We don't take the most elite runners or the most elite physicality. We don't take the most elite heads. We take them all, we put them together, and we form a team. We're a 12-man team that includes all these different aspects, whether it's a mechanic or an infantry guy, or you take all these little aspects, bring them together to make a more combined team, a more elite team.
Yep. So he hit it on the nose. So one of the things that I say is your greatest asset are your people. And your job as a leader is to know their domain specific areas, that their expertise, and allow them to excel in that area. Now there's times where you want to challenge them if they're looking to grow. I found that there's kind of a couple different types of people, like probably a few types, but break them down to two subcategories. You got people who want to be worker bees and just like, I just want to do my job. I just want to, like tell me what to do. I want to live in this space. And then you have people who want to innovate and like create and stuff. I'll break it into three. And then you have people who want to lead, manage, and like kind of direct the big moving parts. So the domain, and then the big thing is for to add to the last part of that is in a time of chaos, like that leader, that's why relationships are important. Like when you start to hit that, like that's why you develop relationships and stuff like that, because when you hit chaos, you're going to need them.
I
So,
think as Green Berets, we have the strongest foundation, right? That's what makes us special is that we have a very, very strong foundation, whether it's shooting, whether it's knowing a mission or anything else, our foundation is solid. So we don't have to worry about how we're going to handle the foundation. We got to worry about how to think outside of that box. So we're able to take everybody and build each other up where we can see as a leader, he determines, okay, this guy needs this school to make him a stronger soldier. This guy needs this school to make him a stronger soldier. So as a leader, you're trying to build up the strongest force you have possible
Yeah.
by building on each other's weaknesses.